What's up, guys? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is 7:05 a.m. Wednesday, May the 5th, 2024, year of our Lord, and it is a beautiful Wednesday morning. Rained again last night. It rained a little bit yesterday afternoon. We got everything done, but on the way back to the house, it rained pretty hard for a second or two. And it rained all night last night. Everything's soaking wet out here right now, but the sky is blue. Just a few clouds off in the distance. It's supposed to be thundering and lightning again this afternoon sometime, but we don't have a whole lot on the list, so we should be able to get everything done. I think I've got 5 or either 6 on the list today. It's not a lot. It's actually a very small amount. And I wish everything was in one neighborhood, man. If everything was in one neighborhood, we could get done in about an hour and a half. No bigger than these yards are. But it's all good, man. We out here, that's all that matters. And I do have another quote to give today. Leads are rolling in, guys. I'm averaging about a lead a day, and my success rate, close rate on these leads are about, I'm gonna say probably about 55%. And everybody says you want to be somewhere between 50 and 65% on your close rate. Said you don't want to be closing not enough, and you don't want to be closing all of them, because if you're closing all of them, that means your prices are too high. And if you're not closing enough, that means, if you're closing all of them, that means your prices aren't high enough. And if you're not closing enough, if you're not closing at least 50%, you need to lower your prices, or you need to start offering more services. One of the two. But I'm one of those guys that believes in not offering more services until you get good at 1 or 2 services, and making sure you have time to commit yourself to those services as well. But I actually had a recurring customer, reach out to me yesterday. I made a mistake and gave her an old business card. And those old business cards I have on there, pressure washing as a service. And before I gave it to her, I crossed out pressure washing. I drew a line through it with a pen. And the only reason I gave it to her is because I was out of my newer ones. I think I ordered maybe 100 new ones whenever, I don't even remember when we did it. I want to say it's about halfway through the summer last year. I just ordered 100 or 200 new ones. I don't remember how many. It wasn't a whole lot. And I'm out of them. I'm just completely out of them. Well, whenever we picked her up at the beginning of the year, I gave her a business card. I tend to do that with every customer I give them a business card. That way they can either take a picture of it and send it to their friends and family, or if they don't save my number, they have my number. But anyway, she texted me yesterday and she said, I need a quote for pressure washing my driveway, my back patio, my front patio, and my pool deck. She has an in-ground pool in her backyard and concrete deck all the way around it, of course, and she wanted all that pressure washed. And I told her, I said, I don't offer pressure washing services no more. I said, once the lawn maintenance picked up, I actually sold all of the equipment, my tank, my pump, and all the hoses. I said, the only thing I have now is just a cheap Ryobi residential pressure washer that I use to do my own driveway and clean my mowers and vehicles and things like that. And she said, oh wow, well, the card you gave me said you offer pressure washing. I didn't realize you don't offer that no more. And I said, can you send me a picture of the card? And she did. And I said, I drew a line through pressure washing with an ink pen. Basically said, I don't offer pressure washing anymore. Sweet, so sweet lady. She said, Matt, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. She said, I did not even realize that you drew a line through there. She said, I saw that on there, and I just thought that it was a mistake. She said, I apologize. Sorry for wasting your time and aggravating you this morning. I said, no ma'am, you did not aggravate me. I said, it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask at all. And I said, I really appreciate you asking me first, since I'm already maintaining your property instead of going outside. and asking someone else. I said, there's nothing wrong with asking. But anyway, so guys, make sure you take a Sharpie or something and completely blot out. If you discontinue a service and you still have that service on your business cards, make sure you blot that service out, man, because it'll save you a little bit of heartache in the future. But anyway, let's talk about pricing for a second, man. It's a beautiful day, it really is. Let's talk about pricing for a second. And I actually had this conversation with a man he was down the road from where I was at yesterday. And he did the exact same thing I did, man. He left his job, except he had been in his job for right at 20 years. He left it because he didn't like the way the company was headed, didn't like the direction. And the more research he done and the more looking and investigating he did, he realized that it wasn't just his company that he was working for. It was just about every company in the United States was heading in the same direction. And he didn't want to be a part of it. So he decided to come out here, and as Mac Landscaping would say, he decided to come out here and try to win at life, man. But we were talking, really nice guy, and we were talking, and he was asking me, you know, because his success rate is not that great, you know, which is a good thing. You know, you don't want when I say success rate, I mean your close rate. It wasn't that great, and it was around 50. I think he told me he was closing about 58-59% of his leads, is what he told me. And that's a big thing in our area, guys. We do everything on percentages around here. But in case you were wondering why I keep throwing out percentages, but he said he was closing between 58 and 59% of his leads. And he said, man, I really feel like I could do better. And I told him, I said, well, if you break down your numbers, you know, whatever your man-hour rate is, if you're charging $70 a man-hour and you lower your minimum down to $50 a pop, he said, I told him, I said, you've got to look at it this way. I said, $5 a service is not going to hurt anybody. I said, how many weekly properties do you have? He said, I don't have any weekly properties. He said, everything I have is bi-weekly and monthly. I told him, I said, well, for starters, you need to get rid of those monthly properties. I said, I wouldn't get rid of them all at one time. I said, and I would let them, I said, as you pick up properties, I would drop for every one bi-weekly or weekly property you pick up, I would drop that each monthly property one at a time. I said, but the thing about it is, a bi-weekly service twice a month, you know, averaging about 2.5 times a month, you're not $5 a service is not making or breaking anybody. I said, you can always test the waters. I said, if your minimum is $50, that's a little too low. I said, you really need to be around $60 for your minimum, because that's what my minimum is. I don't have anything lower than 60. I said, I won't even spray somebody's beds for less than $60. And I said, but if you're at 50, try raising your prices to $55 a service. And if you're doing monthly properties, you need to double those prices. If you're charging them $50, you need to charge them $100. And the reason I'm saying that is because the grass is going to be high, and you're going to have to spend a lot more time mowing them. And that's also more wear and tear on your equipment. But the way I do it is when I go to a property, I give them a minimum of 3 quotes. I will give them a pay-per service quote for mowing their grass. I will give them a pay-per service quote for trimming their bushes. And I will also give them, I'll take and do 23 services. First off, you need to look, do they have a lot of weeds in their lawn? If they have a lot of weeds in their lawn, their lawn is going to be growing in the wintertime too. If they don't have weeds in their lawn, you know, if it's treated, you can get by without cutting their grass in the winter. and I would do a minimum of 20 quotes, but if they have a lot of weeds in their lawn, I would do 23. And you could come out once a month, December, January, and February. But for the 20 quotes, I would go from March, bi-weekly from March to November. And add all that up, divide it by 12, and then look at their bushes, depending on the types of bushes they have. If they have a bunch of Lord Petlums and hollies or boxwoods, do a minimum of 3 times a year. Add that together, divide it by 12. Add those two prices together, and that's your monthly payment. And you can give them that. What that'll do is keep you having money rolling in year round. You won't be making, just say you're making $150,000 a year cutting grass and trimming bushes. You will spread that $150,000 over a 12-month period instead of it being in a 7-month period, which will greatly help you. It will help you financially as far as being able to pay your bills, having money coming in year round. You'll be able to show that you have money coming in year round whenever you're going to get financed for something, going to get approved for a loan, whether it be a home loan, a vehicle loan, equipment loans, whatever it may be. You really need to show that you have 12-month income coming in. But that's the way I do it. Sometimes I'll give them a quote on pruning their trees as soon as they ask me for a quote. But at the bare minimum, I would give them 3 quotes. One for pay-per service grass cutting, one for pay-per service bush trimming, and a monthly price for either 20 or 23 cuts at the minimum. And sometimes I'll go ahead and throw in a weekly price as well. A weekly quote, pay-per service weekly, and weekly monthly payments. And then do it in the same format, except for in March, do bi-weekly, and then April through September, do weekly, and then October, November, do bi-weekly, and then December through February, do once a month. And you can add all that up. You just have to look at your calendar and see how many weeks you will be cutting their grass. But there's different formulas and different ways. I highly suggest thinking out of the box. You know, there's a stigma in the green industry, you know, lawn care in particular, or lawn maintenance in particular, that it's a seasonal job, that you're only making money spring, summer, and early fall. That is definitely not the case. And if I'm being 100% honest, my pay, it only falls from 100% of what I make. It falls to about 90% of what I make once grass slows down, because I have monthly payments. I'm gonna say probably out of, we'll just say, I don't know how many, but there's a lot. There's a lot of customers that I have. Most of my customers are on monthly payment plans, and not to mention the fact I'm doing mulch and pine straw fall, winter, spring, early spring. I'm doing tree pruning fall, winter, spring, well, mainly in the winter, but I am doing pre-pruning. I'm doing leaf cleanups fall, winter, spring. You're doing fall cleanups, you're doing winter, spring cleanups. You're doing bush jobs late fall, trying to get everything ready for the spring, for the winter. And there's other things you can offer as well. You know, you can get into overseeding and aeration, so you can get into lawn leveling. You can get into irrigation, you can get into sod, or just landscape installs, you know, stuff that you can do during the off season. There's so many things. You can do Christmas lights, seasonal decorating, just different things like that. You have to be able to think out of the box. In order to be successful in the lawn care industry, you have got to be able to think out of the box. Don't be glued to this stigma that we're all attached to. But the bottom line is, in order to be successful in this industry, well, I'm not going to call it an industry. In my opinion, it's not an industry. I know it's called the green industry, but I don't consider this an industry. It's not a trade. But in order to be successful in this line of work, you cannot be scared. You cannot be scared. You've got to put in the footwork. You've got to put out door hangers, flyers. Don't Don't be scared to talk to the neighbors, man. Don't be scared to knock on doors. There's nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of people are going to look at you like you're weird when you do that, but a lot of people are also not going to look at you like you're weird. And if they say no, they say no. That's the worst they can do. And to be honest with you, we're all grown-ups. Who gives a damn what people think about us, man? As long as you're out doing things the right way, you're out and you're paying taxes, you're paying your bills, you're taking care of your family, and you're putting God first, that's all that matters, man. That is all that matters. So don't be scared in this line of work to put your name out there, put yourself out there. Start a Google profile. Start you a Google profile. That is 100% scot-free. And you can upload pictures to your Google profile. You can attach a website to your Google profile. You can attach your Facebook to your Google profile. All of that, man. But mowing grass, yes. It is definitely seasonal for the most part. Mowing grass is. But there's so many other things to do out here, guys. So many other things. So many ways to make money. If that is the only thing from holding you back from starting your own business, man, get out here. Get out here and get it done. But the main thing is, if you're wanting to be successful, you just have to get out there and do it. Don't worry about not knowing how to do something, not knowing how to market, not knowing business. I don't know business. I'm learning as I go. And you can take online courses as you're starting your business. Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, let's face it, most of us that get in the green industry are not scholars. We're not business-minded people. But you can always learn, man. And there's no better way than learning from your mistakes. But anyways, man, I hope that helps some of you, especially some of you new guys that are flirting with the idea of getting out here and getting it done. Or some of you guys that aren't bringing in enough money in the winter. You're borderline getting your lights cut off. Just think out of the box, man. Think outside the box. That's really all it takes. Don't be scared to do something. Don't be scared to try new things. And you got to look at it like this, man. When you started your business, you were taking a risk. So why not risk something that you don't really have a whole lot to lose on? But anyway, guys, I hope this helps some of y'all. And I really hope y'all get out there and kill it the remainder of this week. And like I always say, man, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Started out good, a little bit of rain here and there, but let's finish strong, man. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of this week, and I hope y'all's day is as good as mine is starting out. But y'all get out there and kill it, man. And all you new guys, y'all keep growing. And until the next one, like I always say, y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. Holla at y'all. Bye.